followed by Kelly Cheatham.
Good evening, city council members, all who come here to hear their views on this important issue before us.
Followed by Kelly Cheatham.
My name is Kathy Demanda, and I'm here to express my support on a potential for work on a potential downtown bid.
YouTube.
I've owned
That's what's
practice
causing
on
the feedback.
in a small building in High Falls for over 20 years, and my husband and I have recently become full-time residents of the city. I am a longtime supporter of the arts and active on the High Falls Bid Board, and have recently become part of the Rochester Downtown Partnerships Bid Formation Committee. We have had a successful bid in High Falls for over 20 years. I have experienced firsthand what it can do. Although very small, we have been able to enhance the vibrancy of our area, with seasonal plantings, holiday lights, benches, trash containers, historical plaques and tours, historical murals, concerts, events, and unleashed. All this has helped in changing the perception of the area to one that was, at best, merely unknown, and at worst, considered dangerous, into a destination where people from all walks of life literally walk across the bridge. What a small but powerful symbol of unity. None of this would have been realized without the bid money applied to prioritize goals set out by our own community members. And I say that our own community members have set these goals. I can only imagine what communities have done on a larger scale. This leads to my next point. The process must be an inclusive one, otherwise it will fail. Each area of the city will have its own unique needs and desires. One size does not fit all. For example, a High Falls bid is not inclined to join in the downtown bid unless we know our particular needs are going to continue to be part of it. For my short time on the new bid formation committee, I'm convinced that the process will be inclusive, transparent, and a great deal of effort will be made to find the right formulation for our city. And it's very various. I hope those who oppose the idea of a bid will take a step back, realize that this is just the first step, and keep an open mind to hearing what the process will be about before drawing conclusions based on prior steps. I believe the Rochester Downtown Partnership is fully committed to working with the city council, the mayor, city of Rochester, and perhaps most importantly, our community members throughout this process. We all want a more vibrant downtown. We need a more vibrant downtown where every person feels safe and welcome. They did the benefit of all residents if created well, including those who believe they oppose it, but we won't know if we don't take the first step. I invite those who oppose the idea to come out of it and do what's possible.
Kelly is followed by Amanda Chestnut.
Council. I can say, my name is brief president.
I was hoping to connect you with business owners from other communities who have been impacted by bids and even rustled up an expert. They were willing to share their time and experience with us to help us avoid the gentrification and displacement that they had seen and documented. The timing and format of this meeting would not allow for that, and this time may be all that we get. So this morning, sorry, I'm a little bit. So this morning, I was trying to figure out how on earth I could cram enough information into 2 minutes that would convince you that it's okay to take your time and pause the bid. And then I thought about the phrase, to take our time. Right now, the RDBC has the luxury of time. Their time is well paid for. They have $1 million in private funding with the promise of 2.9 million over the next few years to do their bidding if you pass this legislation. Do you know who doesn't have the luxury of time? It's the folks who couldn't afford to be here or see these videos or presentations because they are keeping their small businesses running. Our volunteers have invested hundreds of hours in unpaid labor to learn and to advocate. They've reached out to small business owners within the footprint. Sorry. They reached out to small business owners within the footprint, and over, business owners didn't even know this bid was happening. These small business owners were not part of the Pittsburgh Business Improvement District, but if this passes, they would be pushed into paying for the RDDC, paying the RDDC for it. Council, the RDDC has not done enough to be granted a pass to move forward. I sent over the survey comments and highlighted that 98% of voters and the community do not know enough to move forward with the legislation.
Ma'am.
And if you'd like to see the rest of the comments, I'll be going live on Facebook. On that.
Amanda Chestnut is followed by John Shaw.
Evening, council. I would like to say that we met last night to have an informational session. And the one thing that I know is a takeaway from that session, both from business owners, property owners, and residents, is that we have not had enough time to make any informed decisions about the process. And if how this meeting has started is any indication of what that process will be, I don't think that the community will have enough time between now and Tuesday for their representatives to start the ball rolling on this process. We just don't know exactly what this bid is needed for. In 2014, it was said that it was needed to control undesirable street activity, including youth, panhandlers using police, enhanced security resources, and created behavioral redirection. I think that our community deserves a little bit of time to understand exactly what that program would mean and how that private security would influence people. Myself, as a femme, queer, Black person, would not feel more comfortable in downtown, knowing that it was being controlled by private security. And I don't think that I'm alone in that sense. We've had 50 art community leaders from 3 generations and 800 concerned stakeholders. And when I say stakeholders, I mean citizens too, not just the property. When the RDC says stakeholders, they mean property. So when I say stakeholders, I mean the people who are invested in Rochester, who live here, who work here, who have their families. We've had over 800 concerned citizens ask for a pause in this business improvement. Those are your constituents telling you that we need more time. Thank you.
John Shaw. Jacob Rakovich.
Council, my name is Jake Rathman, I'm a business owner here in the city, you know me. I'm here not because I particularly want to be, but because I feel that this is the only moment in which I will have to speak to the bid. The bid itself is a board of property owners, not renting business owners. That board is currently stacked from the jump. If you look at their plan, it has a few token renters, but they will have no way to speak, no remediation, and no process. So the bid is effectively you handing government control to an unelected, with no recourse group of property citizens. It redefines people that have a voice in the city as those that own property. It's fundamentally unfair. Okay, the classic and racist assumptions of what makes a town safe. The very idea that it's flower pots and benches and private security and no homeless people and no youth, I think is inherently offensive and violent. And if you allow this to go forward, you are effectively pursuing gentrification and the suburbification of our city. I am here as a business owner because I care about the city and forever. Next door to me is a hospital. Behind me is a shelter. Those are also my neighbors. And I do not want them pushed around by private security in the name of flower pots. So I'm here today because I'm not gonna have another option, because once the bid is in control, there is no way for business owners to speak about its direction, that any remediation or any process. If you look at the bid documents, every part of that is property owner. The only business that is improved by the business improvement district is land.
Patrick Dutton. He's filed by Martin Muggleton.
Good afternoon, thank you for the time, I'll be quick. I moved back here in 2004 to focus exclusively on downtown Rochester. I'm a downtown resident, I've been a downtown resident for 17 years, I have 3 young kids. My wife, we are raising our kids in downtown, and they're going to 6 schools, 6, 4, and 2. My only focus is the reinvigoration of our downtown community, and my work is focused exclusively on that. I take a lot of old, vacant, broken buildings and try to make them work. Past successes include such things as the old Merkle Diamond building where Capron Street Law Firm located. That whole area was vacant and left for dead, and I helped to form the Washington Neighborhood Association. I say this only to provide context that I know what a bid can do for our community. I support it entirely. I support the formation of a bid with all community members present, involved, and having a voice at the table. A lot of the anti-bid dialogue is focused on fear and what might happen and bad things that they learn about in other big communities. I think we need to focus on the positive in the sense that we have so much vacancy still in downtown Rochester, and bids are good for business. I believe that in my heart. As a real estate broker focused on downtown, it's tough to attract businesses to downtown because of all the vacancy. We hope to shift that dialogue in a new direction, and bids can help to do that. The prospect of a bid raising taxes is false.
The word is rent. We raise rents.
Excuse me,
Sorry,
sir.
I don't even know.
Please don't interrupt. There's misinformation regarding the raising of rents. It doesn't happen that way. Property owners typically charge with a marketable fare, not what their obligations are on their property tax line item. I'll say one more thing before I conclude to this point. As a downtown property owner, I'm currently in several of my buildings, I'm paying 3 different taxes. I'm paying a tax, my property taxes that include city and property and county taxes. Thank you all. Good luck.
Martin Muggleton.
Good evening, and thank you. I live in St. Paul Quarter, and I work in the High Falls District. I'm doing a 10-minute walk. As you've already heard, the High Falls District is a very pleasing place to work and spend time. Early in my career, I spent 20 years in economic development, helped establish a business group in District 1 Mara, helped optimize this city economy. These added resources made a big difference in both those communities. Not only in the long term, but literally within a year of the south. This process is not really the displays of people, buildings, or history in our community. In fact, it's targeted to create stability, vitality, and sustainability of our community. And I'm proud to call Rochester here. Thank you.
Lutisha Andre Gisette via Zoom, and to be followed by Jason Thompson.
Thank you so much. So I want to say that those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it. Amanda Chestnut spoke about undesirables, and that is what this private police force would be used for. And I'm harkened back to the 1800s around the 13th Amendment. Another law called the Ugly Laws were created to remove undesirables from public spaces. These undesirables were disabled people, Black and brown people, and that they were used to fill our prisons. That's what they were used for. These ugly laws were disbanded in the 1970s, but still have lasting legacies on disabled people like myself to this day. What is inclusion? What is diversity, equity, and inclusion? If this process is having people say we haven't been included, then we cannot continue and move forward with this process. That's all that I need to say. And you need to listen to your community members. Thank you so much for your time.
Jason Hilton. Brett Garwood. To be followed by Andy Galena.
Hi, my name is Brett Garwood. I have been active downtown as a downtown employee, kind of the city, overseeing funding for projects on New York State as a resident and as a leader of a corporation downtown. My current role is CEO of Home Leasing, which has 55 employees downtown, manages Spring Square, and has developed several projects that provide hundreds of units to a very wide range of residents, including the formerly homeless, low and moderate income households, as well as very high income households. I believe that a well-planned bid is an important tool for Rochester, a bid can accomplish some of what is needed downtown to make this all. A lot has been accomplished, including the town plaza, repositioning office towers, Fairview East, Braxton Riverway, preservation of historic buildings, the creation of a huge amount of housing that is made downtown, likely to work integrated neighborhood in its entire region. But at the same time, a lot is not happening here that's happening in other communities that are much more about. Listen, this includes marketing downtown amenities, sustainable and robust public art, programming and active public realm, litter control, great public restrooms, beautification. These are the things that I personally hope that we can accomplish. Everyone benefits from these things. A real public-private community partnership is required. Additional resources to pay for these is needed. And I think a bid can provide a mechanism for such a partnership. I have extremely strong opinions about what a bid should do and what it should not. And I have strong opinions about its governance, which has to include by law, property owners, commercial tenants, residential tenants, and elected officials. The planning process we hope to start here, I think, is the best way to sort through all the opinions that we're hearing right now. That's what a planning process accomplishes. Once a bid is developed, there remains a lot of oversight of its previously discussed, and that process provides a very high bar that we have to achieve. I want to participate in that process.
Andy Galena. Be followed by Leah George Van.
Good evening, my name is Andy Galena, President of Community Development. You know, a little over 4 years ago, conversation with the Secretary of Chamber of Commerce popped up, and our chairman, Rob Sands, to talk about our local economy. And the intention was to benchmark our performance. Now, I was talking about bringing a lot of data and information, but I'll share with you that prompted a report by the Boston Consulting Group that our chairman, Rob Sands, commissioned himself. He paid for that. And then the results were pretty sobering. The whole cohort was 52 cities. We were one of 52 cities, and I'll share with you, our results were mediocre at best. We tried to talk about what can be done, and that spurred the inclusion, the creation of ROC 2025 and some other additional support to Greater Rochester Enterprise and engagement of RDPC. I believe through my investment, we can do better than this. And, you know, I'm sad that you feel this fear about trying to do things better. This is just the beginning. I would love to say about it, absolutely. I don't feel the spirit about raising rents. Let me tell you one thing about raising rents. Sir, is due to demand. No, that wasn't to you, sir. I was to speak. Raising rents and due to demand. Those are good things. More activity, and that's what we're trying to do. It's hard to say we're raising rents on Main Street when we have no retail on Main Street. Our rents are stagnant, our occupancy is not good. The only reason we have reasonable occupancy because so many properties have been converted to residential. We need downtown high-tech companies, we need more employment downtown. A bid will help us, a bid will be a tool to help us reinvigorate downtown. And I think it's very, very important to be engaged.
That is your time, that is your time, sir. Sir, that is your time. That is your time. Thank you.
Leah George Van Scott, to be followed by John Schultz.
Hi, good evening. Leah Jordan, Scott, Senior Vice President, Business Development, Greater Office for Enterprise. For context, GRA is the Regional Economic Development Organization that is the first point of contact for business attraction, retention, and expansion in our entire 9-county Greater Rochester, New York region, and our city is at the heart of these efforts. Over the last 20 years, with the support of our investors and economic development partners at the state, county, and city level, we've attracted more than $3.5 billion in new capital investments, created 17,500 jobs, and retained 18,500 more. Just for 2022, 26 companies have committed and chosen to locate in our region, several choosing the city of Rochester, including recently announced Flashback Solutions, VPAC Photonics, Ocean Insight, RBG Partners, and Constellation. And there are many more. But even if these companies choose one of our neighboring counties, like Genesee County, like our French friends at La Fermière, I can tell you firsthand that these company executives want and need to be able to lure their executives and their employees to the city of Rochester. They need to be able to sell it. They want to sell it. And the corporate site selection is a highly competitive process. While they're here assessing Rochester, they're also visiting, touring, and assessing cities like Charlotte, like Columbus, and like Pittsburgh. And to remain competitive, we need a healthy, vibrant, thriving, and as has been discussed today, an inclusive downtown. A business improvement district has the potential and capacity to activate and reinvigorate our downtown spaces, and this enhances our region's entire quality of life. For this reason, GRA supports the creation of a business improvement district in downtown Rochester. Thank you.
John Schultz will be followed by Matthew Jordan.
And the cabinet administration for providing this hearing. And I want to express my sympathy and support for the people who are supporting the bid in the interests of efficiency and attractiveness. However, I urge you to not adopt the bid, because along with efficiency comes a pattern of exclusion and of neglect that this city has a long history of. If decisions are made by a select group without review by the voters, we have seen that decisions are made often at the final stages of various projects based on the perceived convenience of the people at the table. And if we don't have the voters at the table, I fear it will just be another episode of well-meaning people trying to do what they perceive to be the best for a population, which is not at the table. For that reason, I oppose it.
Matthew Druin, followed by Laura Fox.
Hello, good evening, council. I was at parcel 5 the other day, sitting on a bench, and I saw a young family flying a kite with their kid downtown. Reminded me that downtown, our buildings, our city is nothing without a people. So, long story short, I'm a supporter of the bid, but I caution that this process, which we have many options to kill, I think 4 or 5 options to kill, after we vote yes to start the conversation, that this process is inclusive and accessible, and is inclusive of all community stakeholders. Because myself as the building owner, we don't know a hell of a lot, okay? We're only one stakeholder. So this process should be inclusive from the get. And again, I reiterate that this is just the start of conversation. And we had many opportunities to kill the bid in the process after this. So I've been to many cities nationwide. There's good bids, there's bad bids, there's ineffectual bids. It's up to us to come together as a community, customize the bid in association with what is best for our community for everyone. I don't have a problem with people experiencing homelessness downtown, but I would like a bid to provide outreach services or fund outreach services for nonprofits that specialize in that to help our people that are in need. That is left to be determined after we vote yes and engage people. There's a lot of business owners that cannot make these meetings, cannot make sessions that are put together by a consultant via Zoom. So I really encourage a lot of door knocking that's going to be involved with this, going to business owners and kind of where they are in this. Thank you very much.
Laura Fox O'Sullivan, followed by Suzanne Mayer.
Good evening, council. Thank you for your time. I'm Laura Fox O'Sullivan, the president of the Commissary, Rochester's not-for-profit food business incubator and shared kitchen located on Main Street in downtown. The Commissary is a project of the Rochester Downtown Development Corporation, which has dedicated tremendous resources and time over the past 5 years to developing and operating this critical entrepreneurial support organization. Opening at the height of COVID, we are now home to more than 45 startup food businesses. 66% of them are startups, 62% are female-owned, 51% are BIPOC-owned, and 63% of our member businesses are city residents. Both the Commissary and its parent organization, RDBC, are committed to small-scale business effect. In fact, one of RDBC's main objectives in creating the Commissary was to help entrepreneurs graduate into brick-and-mortar locations throughout our city's commercial corridors, providing much-needed services, employment, and community wealth-building opportunities. As a city resident, an urban planner, and the president of the Commissary, I'm here to voice my support of the potential bid. At the Commissary, the biggest part of what we do is help these small business owners launch and grow their businesses. The potential bid could be a huge asset for the women and BIPOC entrepreneurs that we work with, who are coming out of our programs with lots of hope and energy, ready to start their businesses. The potential bid could offer our members the positive support and community connection and possibility that I hope for them to have as they look to start their own small businesses in our Rochester community. Thank you.
Suzanne Mayer, followed by Robert Rudlowski.
Oh, Orton. I live at 121 University. I'm a resident, and I also work in Hinge Neighbors that tries to talk about and empower voices so that their voices are heard. And observing what is happening here, a lot of it seems to come down to communication and how. It's not time to stop. It's time to really begin. Look at the process that you're looking at to see, does it do the communication and how that we need. One of the things that I really am looking at bids for is that we have volunteer for. I was involved with C4. C4 has been sort of quiet. Why? Because it's volunteer burnout. We look at the C4 movies downtown. Again, volunteer burnout. People are trying to make the city better, but you get to the point where you need help. And help might come from there. We look at our not-for-profits. Today, our not-for-profits are absolutely receiving benefits from us, the taxpayers. Do they pay taxes? No. The bid allows us to think about how we would actually have them pay for some of the services that they will have for instance, Legal Bar, which is expanding their operations in downtown, RIT, Y, and many churches. Now, am I against not-for-profits? No, I haven't. But we all have to be engaged in doing. As for employment, I think there are a lot of different things there. And if you look at some of the funding that's here, a lot of it is grants. Grants do come to an end. What do you do at the end of the grant? You know, I heard of it. So that's where some of this. I do think that displacement and gentrification is not this.
That's your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Robert Rogalski. Robert, okay, Riley Shalacy via Zoom.
We do not have a speaker available.
They're in the waiting room, but they're not connected yet. Oh, they're there.
Is the audio ready?
Is now.
Is your mic up?
Can you tell them to unmute? Can you hear us, Riley?
Can you unmute?
No, you are on mute, Riley.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great. Riley Shalacy, 19th Ward. I'd like no interruptions. I do have a timer running, so I do know how long I have. My concern is the lack of transparency and the lack of information, as this has been kept pretty low on the radar, and residents have to dig and pry for information. Sometimes the information that we are given when asked for it directly is contrary to the information and numbers found after utilizing the Freedom of Information Act. It's almost as if you don't want the residents to know about the project in this stage. And interestingly enough, the YouTube live stream cut out right before this meeting and you ditched the ASL interpreter. And this is not my first rodeo. Technical difficulties were something that I was anticipating, as were the other people who are currently live streaming this on Facebook. Thank you, Councilperson Martin. That's all.
Darian Lehman, followed by Tyler Weinberger.
Good evening, council. Thank you for opening this space this evening. The question before you here is not whether we want things for downtown, whether we want to enhance and revitalize downtown. The question before you is who gets to decide what that looks like and who does it serve and benefit. And you're making a decision potentially for this that will apply for decades to come and will basically see the authority that you have to make policies and exercise oversight, and that also the people who come after you. I have no problem if Angelina and wealthy downtown property owners want to pay more in taxes. I think that would be great, actually, and invest that in downtown. But if downtown is, as I've heard, everyone's neighborhood, I think everyone should have a say where that money is spent, residents especially. So as not to be redundant, I will just reiterate quickly my concern as someone who works with youth and unhoused people, what this could mean for those individuals and how much they are included or not included in our downtown going forward. But I just want to wrap up by saying, you know, this body has shown great leadership in investing in mental health resources and alternatives to policing. Some of the same cities that you look to for that, Portland, Seattle, New York City, are pushing hard to roll back bids that have not served their communities. And I think that if you're considering what a more democratic and participatory model for investing in downtown might look like, take some of that downtown wealthy property owner taxes and have open up our circular budgeting process to let the people who live in this city decide where that should be invested. This is fundamentally anti-democratic mechanism, and you should not be ceding your own authority and that of the people who are sitting will sit in those chairs moving forward. Thank you.
Tyler Weinberger. Followed by Vivian Trettenbach.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tyler Weinberger. I'm a resident of the city of Rochester and a small business owner. To be both of these roles, I'm extremely concerned about the outcome of today's vote and the future of our city. Everyone should be able to benefit from the efforts to revitalize downtown Rochester, and we should all have the opportunity to take part in shaping the city that we live in. That doesn't seem to be what's happening. No one that I know in the small business community has been consulted about RDDC's plans, and we have not been considered for the future of downtown. And yet, we're the ones who will end up footing the bill, so that large property owners can benefit, residents of the city all end up losing. I believe that we should pause on today's vote until the people of the city of Rochester have the opportunity to become educated about the actions of RDDC and the potential for a business improvement district for downtown. As it stands now, the actions of the RDDC do not represent a fair democracy, especially in light of the lack of live streaming of today's event and a lack of interpreting. We should all have a voice in the future of our city. Thank you for your time.
Vivian Trettenbach. Followed by Sean Dunley.
Hello, everyone. I'm speaking here today because I am so concerned about the city council plan for different improvement districts. Again, I looked earlier, we heard the nonprofit spirit down in the corporation. She was very long and speech, but again, a lot of the justification for the biggest question is why are we doing it? What takes up our data? Because a lot of times it's on the council of the data, we're going to integrate the city. How? Where is the evidence? And how is specifically going to improve it? I know that in the poverty, these are all massive issues going on in Rochester. But if we rely on data as our problem, essentially what it feels like is we're just going back on what we are. We're like, okay, I meant to speak. That's a culture. Go take care of it. Don't want to do it. I don't think that's going to be the best thing in Rochester. So a question I would love the council to consider is why are we pushing for a bid? How can we ensure that a bid is what the Rochester community wants or needs? I know, as Kelly said earlier, 800 people responded to the survey that our people did, and that's only people who responded to the survey and thought. I talked to my friends about it, very against it. I love the Rochester community because of the big art and music scene. And it saddens me that the city council will consider to do a thing that would increase rents, like, put strain on all over businesses. For what? Why are we doing this? I would hate to see Rochester become gentrified. I love the local community. That's all I want to say.
Sean Dunley, followed by Casey Arthur.
Good evening, council. We'll just see your faces here. All right. Yeah, that's a lot of things. I'm gonna keep it short and simple here. Do I know if a bid is gonna save anybody, or do I know if it's gonna destroy the city? I was gonna swear, no, I do not. I don't know. But when I was on the Rock Riverway Advisory, and we decided on some of the projects that we had, I saw a full and bright Rochester. I saw something that was going to happen. We saw it together. We needed to have investment in that future. 15 years from now, this Rochester is going to be completely different. How are we setting the tone for that? Sitting in that room behind those closed doors. Yes, we realized there needed to be some funds for a management entity because the river touches so many communities. It touches so many people. The river, then our downtown, it touches so many ages, so many different colors. And we had to have something that would bring all those people together. And so, yes, we decided on a downtown management entity. And now I do sit on that bid formation board. I sit there. And when we decide to initiate those funds for that, we look at inclusivity, equity, and connectivity. And I guarantee you, we will approach it the same way with this. We're gonna look out for the people who always lived downtown. We're gonna look out for the folks who are coming down. And we're gonna make sure that we're going out and listening. That's what we did with Rock the Riverway, and we're going to do this with this bid formation. We need to listen to the people. I will make sure it's my, can I say damn? I will make sure it's my damn job that we are listening to people and are getting input. We gotta have vision, people, not deep vision. That's literally how we got moving. We do this. We can't come to the table and make it. So I'm done. 15 seconds. Peace, y'all.
Casey Arthur, followed by M. Weingarten.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. I know a lot's been going on. I'm coming to you today as an artist, as a humanitarian, as a native, as a local, live here. I'm very, very aware of what's going on to the degree that I have been informed. It has been very difficult to research some of this information ahead of time. It's been tricky to find when I'm educated. But what I really want to convey right now is how important a bid is for the people that we consider undesirable, which I really, really hate, because all of these people are my community. They are all my neighbors. They are not undesirable, they are important. And when we start to see these people in a light of potential and energy and life and vibrancy, then we can start to reimagine the way we reach them. What's really important to me is, as an artist, and understanding that the bid had an intention to reach artists and use art to reach the community. I'm telling you, the potential is right there. Rochester is art and music focused. There is an undercurrent of people who want to give to one another freely. If a bid is going to come in and tell us who and how we can give, and how much, I don't really like to be controlled like that. I really like to see the power stay in the hands of the people. I really like the resources to go to the people that we perceive at the bottom. I do not want a bottleneck of funds at the top decision makers for people who already have influence. I want to see some new voices come out. I want to see some new voices come up. And as an artist, I intend to boost the community from the bottom in a position of servitude, push them up and push them out. But we can't do this unless the bid committee is legitimately willing to hear our concerns as a community and bend the new rules as they're being formed if we find a divide. We need to bridge the divide on behalf of the people. People come first. Rochester has always belonged to people. Thank you for your time.
M. Weingarten, followed by Wade Reed.
Good afternoon. I'm Emma Whitehead. I'm part of Karen. Thank you for providing access to me. I appreciate it. I live in this community. And I barely want to move. And I mean barely. The us that will have to pay for things. The us that would be impacted by this situation is an impactful thing. We need to have a conversation about it. We need to have feedback. We need to have a good feedback. Who's looking out for me? Seriously, y'all, we're looking out for me when you're asking for this. Small businesses make up a large part of the community. Are you guys looking out for that? If nobody had a conversation with us, we have 3 small businesses in this community. We weren't provided with adequate information. I had no idea this was coming into somebody's economy. And it went literally like this to my community. Hey, did you hear about that? Did you want to wear this stuff? All that being said, they talk about hiring scared Why are we here? You see what this community does for us. You quiet us, you silent us. You don't listen to us. You tell me now, I want to be heard. I need my support. I feel supported.
Wade Reed.
Good evening, members of council. I'm here tonight to oppose the creation of the downtown business improvement district. After decades of touting to citizens the benefit of property tax giveaways, $1.8 million in 2021 under the 485A program alone, it's suspect to me that property owners and developers would claim they're willing to pay an additional levy of $1.3 million to fund business improvement district. This one fact lays bare their motivations. They're unwilling to pay to benefit our communities, but willing to pay to empower themselves to price out small businesses and residents, entrench their own projects, and implement services that replace the city's unionized workforce. In other words, the bid is the worst example of pay to play and privatization of public interest. The money paid by property owners to fund a bid increases their power over the decision-making process within the district. This perpetuates a flawed American tradition of tying power directly to wealth, with obviously disastrous consequences for smaller stakeholders, namely residents and tenant business owners. And we've seen these disastrous consequences in bids across the country. Bid is bad for arts. It's bad for small stakeholders. There's something that hasn't been noted after 5 years, the bid's budget zeroes out arts and improvement. Zero. Zero. You're fine. You can look at that. That sounds great. Bad for Rochester, it would be better to start pulling back some of the current tax giveaways and employ property tax money to empower our communities in existing programs. Thank you.
Is Jason Hilton here? Jason? Robert Rogowski? Is there anyone else here who has not spoken, who wishes to speak?
Thank you. And I was thinking to myself, I have no idea if the leaders are doing that. And I like to think that we're pretty like that. I do think it was interesting that Ms. Martin was talking about the need to be heard in some of the earlier conversations that were going on. And it sounds to me like the bid process beginning is the beginning of a need to be heard. And it seems like what you're being charged with today, the question you're being asked is, should we start a process for a dialogue or not? If you decide that no, we don't want to dialogue, the big question or process shouldn't be. The conclusion is you don't want people to be heard. Either the landowners, RBDC, or the passionate people who are speaking against it. I was saying to Andy, if I had employees as passionate as the people sitting in the front row, I wouldn't have to work. But there is a sense of pride, responsibility, care, and concern that is remarkable. I'm honored to be part of a community that has such passion about wanting to do the right thing. I'm scared that sometimes that passion creates fear in people who have to make a decision about how far this process is moving forward and how fast it's moving forward. I really appreciated Galen's observations about there are 5 votes that you will have a chance if any time during that process you don't like what you're doing. Don't stop the process out of that.
Sir, could you state your name for the record, please?
I'm not time. My name is and I've been all around the cities.
Thank you very much. Robert B. Kane.
Good evening, council members. My name is Robert Kane. I am an urban planning enthusiast. I'm a proud real estate portfolio owner, sole member of the county certified minority. I've been working in housing and community development for over 12 years here in Rockford as a developer for various organizations. Tonight, I'm representing CSP Housing as director of real estate development. CSP Housing is an affordable housing development and consulting firm out of Rochester area. CSP is the owner of 270 on East, is co-developing Center City Courtyard on Main and Plymouth, starting to work on a prominent building in Center City, is consulted on a variety of development projects. CSP is fortunate enough to partner with nonprofits all across the state, so we have the benefit to observe and react to policies statewide. In reviewing the proposal to prepare a plan for business improvement district, I found that the initiative like this is not happening. A good plan should work to include all people, outreach to least likely to participate in various life circumstances, and address the concerns of first time. When spending time in other communities, it's clear that when there's a focused effort to unify a specific area with an inclusive effort to include its stakeholders, that a good plan helps further growth and prosperity for all. Please vote for approved intro 255 commence planning efforts. Thank you.
Are there any other speakers who have not spoken who wish to speak? And please state your name.
Hi, my name is Larry Moss. I live in the city as well as own a business here and run a not-for-profit here. And what I want to do is read a passage from a book, and this is an academic book that has looked at bids and studied bids, business improvement districts and the contradiction of placemaking by Susanna F. Shaw. Passage. The final process, in fact, had more to do with fulfilling the obligatory but adaptable legal requirements than with a democratic, let alone an inclusive and deliberative process. In a letter to the city, the Adams Morgan Partnership confirmed the position that even if the bid hearing was crowded with bid opponents, this would have no impact on the ultimate approval of the bid unless those opponents could demonstrate that the bid requirements had been violated. Undoubtedly, some property or business owners oppose the bid in concept, but the proper legal process was followed and created, and only testimony speaking to a flawed process would be germane at the hearing. So you keep being told there are 5 times to say no to this, but the reality is it is a very calculated, planned process. Once you get the ball rolling, you've started the process. Now is the time really to step back, let's pause. That's all we ask for at this point. Pause it so that people in the city can learn what this is all about. And so that more people can step up. And if some of us are wrong and it is a good thing, teach us, give us an opportunity, let us speak. You let Galen come up here and give a large presentation. None of us have had an opportunity to do this. We would like a review. Thank you.
Thank you, City Council, for your time. My name is Nora Green, also a Rochester City resident. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that one of the primary component pieces of the developers and people supporting the bid is the timeline that it's meant to. We have like 2 years theoretically before this is actually getting acted on to be created and everything. But I hear that you call it fear if you want, I call it, and I would, argue that most everybody here who's opposed to this movement would also call it just haven't seen it all before. It comes from a wealth of knowledge and experience, not fear and unreasonable emotional reaction. But what I hear when I hear a 2-year timeline is 2 years for all of these developers and property owners to buy out stakeholders and residents. And we have no good cause of speaking on the table, unlawful and wrongful, unjustified convictions. For the people who are small stakeholders, these small business owners, all people that have small stakes in the area that they're trying to develop, could lose that property over 2 years. And then the people developing this are the entirety of the stakeholders and the voices and the board and the money and decisions. And I would strongly caution. And at least if there's any chance to have protections for small people with business owners in that process, it should be a huge priority that people are protected in that law process to not lose their estates in areas such as that. Thanks.
Is there anyone else? President Lund, that was the last speaker.
So we have folks who submitted comments in writing. Some of those folks who spoke. We have the other comments that we can have with the TV. We should have those. I'd like to do it. In addition, apparently we have folks who have left voice messages about those messages. We got comments from folks who submitted with the comments. Address those. When.
Councilor Credit, what are you asking for a second? You're asking to see read into the record? Are you asking?
Yes, because normally when we would be in a situation, if there was a council session and someone was accompanied, it would be read. So,
Actually, there's a precedent that said, if it got good cause hearing, there will no longer be comments or voicemail into it, even proceed to council.
So that's where we're,
I'm not in favor of that decision.
so that's where we are. That's where we are, that's where we are, and there are no other speakers. There's no one else in this audience who would like to come out, who haven't spoken, who would like to address the issue at hand.
Thank you, everyone. This concludes our public forum on the bid. We appreciate your thoughts and consideration and time. Have a good evening.